We're back here on the John Fourcade Show, and one of our John Fourcade specials this week, it's a 2015 Ford Focus lease at $179 per month. Again, a 2015 Ford Focus lease, $179 per month. Come on, man, come on down to Veterans Ford. We're back here on the John Fourcade Show. Mike to take you along with John Fourcade. And John, Super Bowl 50 right around the corner. Carolina Panthers, Denver Broncos. Can't have too much more hype than what's already been hyped, but we'll hear, 3 more days of this. Third straight season that the top seeds, they meet on Super Bowl Sunday. That does go to show you there is a cut between the high rankings and the lower. The Panthers led the NFL in takeaways and turnover margin, and I think that's critical. Certainly with the Broncos, led the NFL in yards allowed and sacks. 5 o'clock Sunday night, and I think this is good. I just hope it's a close game. We've seen a lot of times the billing of this Super Bowl, and it turns out to be a blowout. We saw it 2 years ago that, man, once Peyton Manning got the safety situation, that was it. Man, Seattle just tsunamied them after that. Last year was a totally different story. You saw it down to the wire, the interception at the end, basically winning it for New England. I just hope it's a close game, because I think if it's a blowout, I think the blowout, it would be the Panthers to blow out the Denver Broncos.
Well, here's my take. I don't know what your take is, but I don't like this 2 weeks. And the reason I say that, it's just too much hype. Guys, as a football player, you're on a roll. And when you take that bye week they give you during the middle of the season, a lot of things happen bad when you come off a bye week. And I know it's a Super Bowl and you shouldn't be saying something bad, but players don't really like to have 2 weeks off. And I'll be honest with you, Mike, I have not watched much of these hype leading in. You hear about it, listen to the radio and stuff, but it's just like broken records. If you turn this station on to that station and that, it's the same thing. All right, is Peyton Manning going to stick around? Is he going to retire? Is he going to win it? All right, then you want to talk about Cam and his scenario about being a black quarterback and that scenario. Is it somebody's foot problem? I mean, it's every station's got the same old thing. Let's just go out and play this thing. But you're right about one thing. I just hope it's a close game. It's an entertaining game, because I feel this: if it is a blowout, it's going to be, like you said, the Panthers doing the blowing out, but I don't think it will be. I think Denver's defense, and what happened to Denver 2 years ago when they did get blown out against Seattle.
That was more of an offensive problem.
I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a situation where I think, it's a totally different crew, different coaching staff, a lot of different players. It's going to be a little bit different. And I think another factor is you're playing in the West Coast. This is Denver's territory. Carolina's got to travel over there. Granted, they're there long enough, get adapted to it, but this is more of Denver's situation being in the West.
One of the things in this game, from a standpoint of defense, and everybody talks about the pass rush of the Broncos, and certainly with DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, they get that. But what I look at the Panthers is what they do to blow up everything inside. With Kawan Short, Star Latule, they blow up everything inside. Peyton Manning's always a guy that's a pocket passer. He likes to take that step, if it's 3-step, 5-step, and then step up into the pocket. You have seen virtually no one this year be able to step up in the pocket against the Panthers to throw because of those two guys in the middle. I'm interested to see how the Broncos try to match up blocking that, because Carl Dunbar told me this 2 years ago. That's what we tried to do when the Jets played the Saints, to blow up, and he used the term, blow up Drew Brees' launch pad, not to let him step up in the pocket. I see the same sort of scenario here. They know Peyton Manning's not running away from anybody, but if you take away his middle that he can't step up, that makes him move side to side, and his efficiency throwing isn't nearly as good when he's not set and able to throw the football downfield.
Well, as a quarterback, you want to be able to have least amount of pressure from the inside, because you want to be able to step up. But the thing that you also got to remember is when you look at Denver and the way they throw the football, are they throwing the ball enough over the middle that he has to see and not worry about the pressure over the middle? If it's outside throwing lanes, then Peyton's not looking really up the gut of stepping up. He's looking maybe stepping on an angle, and that's where your defensive ends rushing, and I don't think the Panthers have that compared to what they have in the middle. If they're throwing the ball quick enough to the outside, they should be able to do just fine against against Carolina's inside pressure. But with all that being said, you have seen what happened when they played last 2 weeks ago against the New England Patriots. Peyton just fell down a couple of times because he saw the pressure come up the gut, and he just took the automatic sack, which you know he's capable of doing it all year long. He would just fall down when he sees somebody coming in there. If that's what the Panthers are going to have to do to get to Peyton is up the middle, then you're going to have to see Denver try to say, okay, we need to throw the ball quicker to the outside where he can step to the outside, more or less stepping to the middle.
One of the things is everybody's got a hole, so to speak. And, certainly with the Panthers in their secondary, that's the hole. Josh Norman's a great player, but after that, everything that is below average as far as the two safeties
Roman
and the
Harper,
McLean. You can kind of go down the list.
Yep.
But their three linebackers cover as well as anybody in the league. I can't remember, other than Patrick Willis in his heyday, no one could cover the middle like what Luke Kuechly can. And then you got Thomas Davis and Shaq Thompson on both sides that are undersized sort of outside linebackers, but they cover so well. How much that takes away from a quarterback who's looking to throw the ball quick when you have those linebackers that can cover well, but also cover a lot of area like what Thompson, Davis, and Kuechly can do.
And a big key to this situation is Peyton hasn't thrown the ball well down the field, and that doesn't have anything to do with linebackers. So he figures to make completions, get the ball out of my hand, he's got to throw it quicker. Well, if you throw it quicker, now you're going to be dealing with linebackers. And the big key is Davis with that injury. I don't care what anybody says. You break an arm, a forearm, and you put a rod and screws, whatever it is, you will not be 100%. If they go at him and find out he can't get the job done, two things are going to happen. Either Panthers are going to pull him off the field, put someone else in there, or Denver's going to have to find some other reason to go deep down the field if the linebacking core affect him. I think the way with Peyton's throwing the football, he's got to throw the ball quick enough, but he's not going to have time to throw it long enough to go down the field. So I think he's going to try to throw the ball quick, and that's where he's going to have to try to find his running backs or his tight ends, because I just don't see him having the time to throw deep.
One of the things with the Broncos defense, and they have played just great all year long. They have been kind of the lead train on this football team. They run the football pretty well with C.J. Anderson, but one of the things that's a weakness that you see with the Broncos defensively, they don't match up well with the tight end. You saw when they played the Colts, Kobe Fleener, Dwayne Allen, got open. Last week, Rob Gronkowski, who's about 75%, wide open. And guess who they play this week? Greg Olsen. And how are you going to match up against him? Because I think that's a mismatch when you're looking at weaknesses. Or we talked about the Panthers downfield. I think when you look at what Denver has, they don't match up well against a tight end.
I think what Denver's going to try here, Mike, is what you saw 2 weeks ago against New England. They got to try to put pressure on Cam Newton and make him throw the ball quicker, make him revert to doing something differently. I'm sure if the tight end's on the right side, maybe make Cam move to his left where the tight end's away from him, where he can't pick up the tight end. And it's an old rule of thumb we used to always have is if you got a quarterback who's right-handed, tight end's on the right side, they're going to look for that. Well, if you can get him to go to his left where the tight end's not there, it's kind of like a safety valve. Olsen's his safety valve. He wants to go to him. I think if you can take that away from him in this football game, and by that, I mean Denver's going to have to find a way to put pressure and to take him away from throwing the ball to Olsen. They know he's got issues throwing the ball down the field to these somewhat receivers. They don't have the greatest receivers. It's all about Olsen. If you could take him out of the game, I think Denver's got a good chance. And that's the thing about Denver. They got such a good defensive front line. Nobody's talking about it, but I guarantee you Cam Newton's going to find out what it is to meet these guys.
It's going to be interesting because, in essence, the uniqueness of Cam Newton, his ability to extend the play out, make some plays with his feet. And if I know Ron Rivera, all chips are in. They're going to have some designated runs in this game for Cam Newton to run the football. And that's one of the things that, was part of your forte as a quarterback, your ability to run. And that put a lot of pressure on defenses when you've got everything covered downfield and then the quarterback takes off.
That's the biggest problem they're going to have in this game is the running of Cam Newton.
We'll be back with more of the John Fourcade Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford.